How's it going, everybody? Today I'm here with my friend Carlos, who has sold 100,000 bucks on Amazon in his first 4 months on the platform. Super excited to break down your journey, man. But if you just want to briefly introduce yourself, maybe let us know how you got into the crazy world of Amazon. We'll scroll from there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Warner. Yeah, so my name is Carlos. I've been doing Amazon FBA since beginning of January. I started sending stuff late December. Got into it while I was on a business trip for my main job. Just had a lot of free time and started consuming content late December. This has been a journey from there. It's been a wild ride.
I love it. Yeah, we can get into that a little bit. So you got a full-time job right now still, and then you're also balancing the Amazon business as well. I like it. Is the regular 9 to 5 job, does it have anything to do with like e-commerce? Does it help you understand, or just completely unrelated?
Absolutely unrelated. It's an insurance business, and
Cool.
there's no correlation between the other at all.
Nice. I mean, we can just get into it there. So like, how are you finding the balance? Because obviously you've seen some pretty quick growth, and we'll get into like kind of the stuff you like to sell, all that good stuff. But how are you balancing that time? I know most people watching this video, they've got a full-time job already. It's, man, I don't have enough time to sell on Amazon to start that side hustle. Is there any kind of scheduling or any kind of tactical stuff you do to actually find the time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In my main job, it's pretty offhand. I don't have a specific schedule. I should be working a schedule, so if I want to keep growing that business, but I've just leveraged having assistants and kind of runs itself pretty much. And of course, brings a lot of complication into things. You still have to be day to day. I still wake up and got to do all my daily duties and then start sourcing things like that. It's just balancing it in a way that half of the day I'm in that business and the other half I'm in Amazon stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Finding that balance. You said like late December, you're starting to understand like the world of Amazon. Do you remember how you came across that first product? Would you do the exact same thing to find that item again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I was a nerd. I still am, but back then when I was studying the whole thing, I watched a lot of videos, and a lot. I think I had a Chrome tab with 80 like links into it, just a bunch of videos from you guys and mouse, and just reverse sourcing, storefront stalking. That's how I found my first item. Just going through Nike, something like that, and just going off of the sellers on those listings. I found my first item. Wasn't my winner. That's how it came on later.
Yeah. Do you remember what that item was, or are you still selling that item? You want to keep it under wraps?
Oh no, I'm still selling it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That first item's still making you some money then. I like that.
It's crazy. I still look back into it and I'm like, how am I still selling this? So this is like literally the first thing that I found is literally at the very top of my buy sheet. Is the very first item, and I'm still selling it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially in the world of arbitrage, I assume you're buying everything from websites. You doing any retail, any wholesale, anything like that?
No, so right now I'm just fully doing online arbitrage.
Awesome.
I do some, I guess you could call it RA, because I do a lot of pickup orders and I do have to go into stores sometimes, but I don't specifically go and scan with SellerAmp or anything like that. So I would say it's 99% OA. Right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they look at like a reselling business. It's where you're constantly finding that new item. It's awesome. The very first item you found is still making you some money 4 months later. Are you seeing that on a lot of your products? Are you able to get a lot of restocks going on that kind of stuff?
So right now, I was running some numbers 2 weeks ago. Right now, at least 60% of my items are still stuff that I got 3 months ago. So I'm pretty much just in the restocking game.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I assume you might be starting to reach the point where a lot of the inventory budget you even have is just going into those items you've already sourced before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It might sound terrible, but I've actually haven't sourced in like a week.
It's
been so good. With my only limiting factor right now is just, okay, where's the money so I can replenish my ASINs. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha. That's a great problem to have, especially pretty quick into the business there. So when it comes to finding those like replenishable items, are a lot of them just sitting there at retail price? Are you doing a lot of like couponing, discounting? What's kind of the breakdown there? I know I talk about that a lot. I'm just curious like what that's looking like in your business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've personally tried to stay away from like too many sales, because it was just experience that I've gotten from or buying very deep into sales that last a long time. So I'd say 90% of those products are products that have that price all year round, or have that price, let's say every 2 weeks, every week, something like every month, something like that. And it just gives you that chance of entering, and nobody else can get in at that price until a month later. So it's a very predictable offer count on all of them. I think that's the main reason why I've been able to just keep the 3 months restocking game pretty much.
Awesome. Yeah, just paying attention when those prices are back. Do you have any kind of systems, or you checking your Google sheet? What does that look like for you to be like, oh, the price isn't there right now? How do you know when the prices are good again for your restock?
Yeah, so I use multiple things. The first thing will be keep a tracking. I put a tracking on almost every single item that I have that I sell, be it offer count tracking or buy box tracking. And then if anything, I use the visual ping, which is just like a software that tells you whenever there's a change in a website, right? And then other things, I go ahead and just almost every day, I also check it myself. Or emails as well, if you sign up for their newsletter or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of different ways to be aware on those alerts there. I like you mentioned the keep alerts and visual ping. That's game for those of you guys that are watching and
It is
actually
game.
implement that stuff. Yeah, I like those tools. It makes it a lot easier to hit those restocks. So I know we talked a little bit about the 9 to 5 job, that kind of thing. How much time is it actually taking you to run the Amazon business? And I'm curious if you ever see yourself taking Amazon full time too.
So I joke about this with people that I talk. Technically, Amazon is my full-time thing right now. Spend so much time in it. I don't have a prep center. I don't have VAs or anything like that. So it's like a one-man team just running it. Our family, I help out. Most days it's just me and family now because there's so much stuff to send to Amazon and so much stuff to pack. Yeah, no, right now I'd say Amazon is like the full-time thing. I don't want to call it that because I technically could spend more time doing it. But yeah, it's a matter of probably 2-3 hours insurance business in the morning and then 8 hours Amazon.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
every
That's
single
a good, that's a good work-life setup there. I like that. You got
Yeah,
plenty
yeah.
of time for the side hustle. People always say, don't hire your family, don't work with family, that kind of thing. I've always been a big fan. You can trust them. Well, what is your family looking like? You got kids, that kind of thing pitching in?
No.
What's the at-home looking like?
No kids, nothing like
Okay.
that. So that's my dad, his wife, and then we got my little brother. I'm trying to get my little brother into it. Sometimes I have him just come in, put a couple of labels. So I've always also been in that mindset of not trying to bring family into business, but the way I grew up, right, and the way my family is, it's like an inevitable thing, right? Like we're all into each other's business one way or the other without expecting anything in return. We just like to see the family grow. For me, it hasn't been an issue at all. Hopefully, it keeps going that way down the future as I scale. But I also don't mind. Hey, when I hit 50K, I took my whole family to a nice dinner. Like the bill was in the 4 figures, but it was a good time, right? It's just me appreciating them for helping me out and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very wholesome family business there. I like that. I'm seeing a lot of family combos, husband and wife, that kind of thing, crushing it on Amazon. It's a built-in community. That's another thing that I know you've taken advantage of a little bit. How has making connections in the Amazon space made you some money? What does that look like? I know a lot of Amazon sellers, I'm just going to be by myself in my room on the computer buying stuff. Have you seen any benefit from being in Discord groups and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I want to say I can definitely relate to just to be a lone wolf the whole time.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I started. I was like, whenever I started talking to people, the first question would be, what brands are you selling? What products are you using? And I'm like, this is not how it should go. We should be talking about things of how to support each other's business. And if it gets to there to at one point, then great. So in the beginning, first month, I was just focused on myself, wouldn't really network or anything. But then month 2, I saw the value. It was talking to other sellers is almost as important as sourcing. So to me, sourcing is your number 1 job in this business. Working with other sellers, it's literally almost the same value because there's a lot of things that you don't know that they know, a lot of things that you haven't experienced that they have. And at the end of the day, 2 brains work better than 1. Networking for me has been amazing. I either reach out or just respond to all the DMs that I get, either in the Discord, in the Instagram, whatever the case may be. I have people that I talk constantly with, Ryan from Cooking Cash Flow. It's always good to butt heads with other people that have different mentalities, different ways of approaching the business and learning from it. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, I definitely saw the same thing in my business, ramping things up. Took me from 20K months to 100+ K months, just talking shop, that kind of thing. And I know we talked a little bit beforehand. If people want to reach out to you, I'll drop your social media down below. You've been super helpful. I know if you guys are watching, you want to hang out, talk to Carlos a little bit. I know he's always down to make some new connections. We'll leave that down below. One other question I have for you. The next question I like to ask pretty much everyone is, was there like a light bulb moment? Maybe it was that first product you're still selling it where it's like, all right, like selling Amazon, it's not just flipping this item here and there. I can actually make serious money off this. Like you said, you've been able to treat your family to some awesome dinners, that kind of thing. Was there like a light bulb moment for you?
Yes. When I found my first winner, that was the moment I said, this is serious.
Yeah.
It happened, same thing that happened when I embarked on my first business. It was really hard in the beginning. You have to build up, just like Amazon. You have to build up to it. And the first couple of months of my main business, it was just making nothing, just working for free pretty much. So with Amazon, once I found my first winner, I can definitely talk about it because unfortunately don't sell it anymore. It was just matcha tea. That thing, it brought me so much money. I still think about it to this day. I still think, and I still go into the website. I still check every day, like, when is this coming back? So once I start selling it and I started seeing how much it moved, I remember I sent to FBA and it sold the first day that I checked in. It was obviously, even at a higher price, it was still just a bunch of pending orders. And then I started just doing FBM and I would see that as soon as it got to my house, I will post it and it will sell the same night. Yeah. So I was like, what is this? I've never seen this before. I've seen other people talk about it, but I've never experienced it. And I was like, okay, let's try and push this. So I went a little bit deep to begin with. I was pretty scared. You're spending thousands of dollars.
It's weird to get used to. The first time you drop like $3,000 on a random, you're saying like matcha tea. It's like, what am I doing? Is this real?
You imagine talking about that with your family. You're like, what are you doing? Yeah. I talked with the person that gave me the push to click place order was Ryan. I was like, dude, would you buy this if you saw this and that? And he was like, dude, he said a line. I forgot what it was, but that thing just pushed me to click it. They shipped it. I got it the 2 days after, sold it. After that, it's just game. I think the biggest order I placed with them was like $4,000. It was insane.
Yeah. Once you get that first major winning item, it just like mentally makes makes it way easier to pull the trigger next time. And that's
Oh,
why I'm really big on emphasizing, if this is your like 100th YouTube video, that kind of thing, go buy 5 units of something. You need
yeah,
to see
just
that
go.
that
Just
proof.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Sweet. So as far as you see a ton of people talking about selling on Amazon, that kind of thing, and it's well known that a lot of people try and fail. So like, why do you think that you tried and have found success, especially so early on, versus a lot of other people who end up failing? What was the difference there?
So I'd say there's a lot of things to overcome. I just saw the vision. It sounds corny, I think, but it's just a matter of sticking to it. I've noticed in me just personally talking to other sellers and some that I reach out and like, hey, how's it going? How's the business? Then I go, I'm not in there anymore. It's just sticking to it. I got into this as if I was literally going to college and sitting down and learning something. How I would dedicate time to watch videos and understand how and why things worked. So once I started seeing the things started pushing back at me, I would just say, okay, let's resolve this so we can keep going, right? Because once you're selling, let's say, 1 million a year, you're not going to be bothered by all those issues because you know you can sell 1 million a year. Are you really going to let anything just get in your way and not push back? So I think just sticking is what should be like a priority for more sellers that are starting like to struggle in any way. It doesn't matter what it is. Could be ungating, could be finding products, whatever it may be. Just stick to it. I'll talk to other sellers, ask around, ask me. I'll gladly yap to you for 1 hour about how you can resolve it. Like you just have to push through it. Honestly.
Yeah, that's definitely I've noticed about the guys at home. Like if you tried anything before, you had to do a lot of effort for it to start making sense. Like you just put in the effort. Weird that people they'll try to do any side hustle and it's like, oh, I'm not making money. It's been a week. I guess it doesn't work.
Exactly.
It's just about that persistence. Like you were talking about a bit earlier about how like in the early days it's like below minimum wage. Like I don't want to go calculate the hourly rate that it would have been in the early days of selling on Amazon. Like I literally be a virtual assistant, make more money, but you don't see that kind of growth. 9 to 5, you're set at that salary. You got willing to work hard now, make a lot more later. Yeah. That's the trade-off that a lot of people aren't willing to make, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sweet. So as far as scaling the business, was there, I know you haven't been in the game super long, but is there anything that you had to stop doing? Was there anything you realized, man, this is too slow, this isn't going to be an efficient way for me to scale in order for you to start hitting bigger and bigger months?
So as I'm starting to notice, it's definitely just pickle borders. There's some agents that are just too good and you're not able to buy them online for whatever reason. And just those pickle borders, they get to you. The other day I spent 5 hours just driving around. Yes, I spent $2,000, $3,000 on something that's going to give me a lot of money. But I came back home and I just sat in my bed and I was like, this is too much. I think one of the first things that I will be phasing out soon to give myself that, to not burn myself out at least, and allow me to scale in other ways that are going to be similar in growth, is just probably dropping the pickup order craziness that I've been doing.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense in the early days though. Like you've definitely seen a bunch of awesome products that's like, hey, if I go to the store right now, I can make $200 on a pickup order.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, and I think at some point I have to go back to it, especially in Q4, but I think I'll just approach it a different way. It's not just gonna be me just driving around the whole city picking up everything, but I'm gonna have other people do it for me and make sure that it makes sense to pay them to do it for me. I think that'll be the way to do it.
Yeah, definitely not a super efficient way to scale to some ambitious goals I'm sure you have as far as growing the business there. Another question I want to talk to you about, obviously we talked about a lot of the positives, that kind of thing. Like what is the hardest part about running your Amazon business to you?
That stuff, honestly, it can be uncertainty sometimes. I wake up and I think I run 2 businesses. My main job, it's very uncertain because it is related to government and all that stuff. So it's out of my hands. In the Amazon, against how I overthink it a lot too. I think we're all Section 3s, all IPs and all that. But at the end of the day, it's all a matter of doing good sourcing, doing things as you should be doing and not buying from the shady Telegram wholesalers or anything like that. You should just focus on what works and what is the right way to do things. But sometimes I just read on the seller forums and things like that. And I think of the uncertainty. I think just thinking today I'm making 100K and next month I'm making nothing. That's one of the hardest things to think about because I don't want this to just be a side hustle. I think you can notice by the amount of effort I put in. To me, this is big, career type of big. Uncertainty, it's definitely one thing that I have to battle every single day. I'd say sourcing, I don't want to say it's hard. It's just something that needs a lot of repetition. I know a lot of sellers, you see it every day. I can't find any products. I can't find my first product. It's just repetition. I think that's just something that you should just stick into it, keep doing it. Even if it takes you 2 weeks, you're going to find it. And once you do, you're going to feel good and you're going to do it again.
Yeah, you got to enjoy that process. I know, especially when I was doing like all my own sourcing, like I remember I'd throw up like Game of Thrones. I watched all Game of Thrones while I was just sourcing on the computer. I'll just make it a little more fun on myself. Some good content. Yeah, I feel like everybody's got like a certain movie or show that they associate with like their Amazon sourcing. It's not always like the most high brain power stuff when you're sourcing, which can be good on that. But I totally agree with you. We stand on like the uncertainty. Unless you're like one of the top businesses, you have some kind of platform risk, and that can be like a lot of people. It's hard to sleep at night if you got that platform risk. You might get an email. Like a couple months ago, I got an email that says, "Hey, 5 of your best brands. We need all of your invoices for all of these brands, or we're going to make you stop selling. It's like, all right, that's what I'm doing for the next 2 days. I guess I'll do that.
And that's exactly
Yeah.
what I mean. It's a little bit nerve wracking. I haven't had any issues. Thankfully, it's been like an amazing run. I did have an authentic complaint that I beat the same day, but once I got that email for the first time, I was like, it's over. What do I do now? But then I sat down and I was like, oh, this is something I can resolve. And I just sat down, got what they needed, beat it like in 20 minutes. I didn't respond. I was everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of just pushing through it. Honestly.
Yeah. Carlos was just saying, I was able to beat that request with OA documents. If you guys hear that misconception, like I know, especially you're talking about like the seller forums, there's all kinds of crazy conversations on the seller forums. Like you can use like retail receipts. There wouldn't be Amazon arbitrage sellers around for years if you couldn't, but just be aware, like you say, make sure you're buying authentic stuff, not the sketchy suppliers, that kind of thing. You'll be good to go basically. Sweet. So I know you mentioned doing some like reverse sourcing to find some of those first products. Has your sourcing process evolved at all over time? Now you talked a little bit about restocking makes it easier, but have you added on some new sourcing methods, or how does that look like now?
Honestly, most days that I'm sourcing, I try to do it like as fast as I can. Like I put myself, like let's say 8 hours in front of me. How many products can I look at in this 8 hours? Not how many I can find, just how many I can look at in this 8 hours. How many I can save to my look later in this 8 hours. So most of the time I'm doing KPF, keep a product finder, just plug a bunch of sellers in there that I know have good products for people looking at home. If you want a little bit of sauce, just do that. Just keep a product finder is a great tool for people in the beginning or even advanced sellers, because it allows you to look at a bunch of things at the same time, and it's just a matter of your brain just plugging it all together, and then you can see what works without even clicking on the product. So that's usually how it goes most days. Just keep a product finder. Some days I have a lot of time and I'll go ahead and look into my own products, look at my past products, things that I saved in December when I was mock sourcing, when I couldn't buy anything, but I was just still looking at things, and just go from there. I found a lot of products that way.
Yeah,
just
looking at similar opportunity. I've definitely done a lot of the same thing. Like, and I know you said you don't have any team members or anything like that, but like one thing that we've done is we've sourced like, I think I'm like 13,000 leads lifetime. And so one of my team members, he doesn't look at anything new. He just looks at past products, and that's his whole job. And you're already doing a lot of that kind of stuff. There's so much potential in just like the work you've already done. Yeah, I know we've talked about that a little bit, but that's awesome to take advantage of there. So looking back to the beginning, if you talk to yourself in December, would there be anything you'd tell yourself? Would you change anything, or are you happy with how things are going?
So I definitely would. I was definitely one of the sellers I worried about ungating. Sure. For everybody listening at home, it's one of those things where you just have to worry about it for just a little bit of time, and then after that, it's just the gates are open. So I worry a little bit too much about ungating. I tested too many things that I needed to be ungated, and it would later just bite me and have to return them. If I could go back, I would just say work on what you can sell, get those sales up so that you can start selling almost everything without having to worry about ungating. But aside from that, I think it's been a great journey because I put a lot of effort into learning it. So I'd say that's probably the only thing I would change.
Yeah, makes sense. I think I remember you and I probably even had some DMs back a few months ago. I was scrolling up when I shot you a message to shoot this, and it was like, oh, there's some ungating questions, that kind of thing. It's cool to see the progress. There's a funny text that I showed at like Miami Sellers Conference of Corey. He's like, hey, I have an ungating question. Don't kill me. Everybody has some doubts on that kind of stuff from now and then. I think you just got to get that first brand taken care of, and it's like, all right, it's not that scary. But I'm sure you've started to see a lot of, as you sell more and more, you're getting some auto engates and that kind of thing going, I assume.
Yeah, I know. So the way I work is I don't really worry about ungating. I just, if it works for me, I buy it. If I have to ungate it, I do it. If not, then good. I don't really think about, oh, I have to get the invoices. No, I just buy what works, sell it. That's it.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. No reason to overthink it too much. As far as looking to the future, like what is like your dream goal for 2025? You got a big monthly goal, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so for December, I am shooting for $150,000 just for that month. And that would set the stage for what I want to do, which is get a prep center starting January. I'm going to be fully just doing everything myself this year for as long as I can. But yeah, I'm shooting for about $150,000 for December.
I like it. Yeah. A lot of people, they want the prep center right away. Like, why does it make sense for you to do a lot of the prep work? You throw in some FBM in there, like why you want to do the work yourself?
Yeah. So I'd say 80% FBA and 20% FBM. Nice. It definitely feels sometimes like I'm doing 100% FBM. I think it's putting in the work yourself teaches you when something goes wrong, when someone else is doing it, right? So if I put a lot of the effort into a prep center in the first month, how are you going to know whenever they mislabel something or they lose a unit, something like that? Things that can cost you as they add up throughout the year. So the way I see it is, let me just learn all the ins and outs of everything that has to do with Amazon for the first year, and then I can start delegating it to other people. That's exactly what I did on my main business. I just had it for a full year. It was definitely, I should have definitely had an assistant way before that. But as soon as I got her, I was able to teach her everything and make sure that she's able to understand things. And I know when she does a mistake, and we can use constructive feedback off of it. So it's the same thing with prep centers, VAs, things like that. So this is the way I see it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I probably also waited a little bit too long to hire out, but like it's better to know too too much of the business yourself, right?
Exactly.
Do too much yourself first rather than
I agree.
flying blind and that kind of thing.
I see this again. I don't call it a side business anymore. I see this business, this job as like my baby, right? So think about just handing it to somebody else. It's a little bit nerve wracking. So you want to make sure that that person can take care of it, right? You got to look at the red flags of the VAs of the prep centers to make sure that they're also going to take care of it. So it's a little bit nerve wracking. We'll get.
Yeah, I like it. You got to make sure the babies it can walk a little bit. It can use its own words, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
With that analogy there. So you said you want 150K in December. What's holding you back from having 150K month like next month? What's the bottleneck for you right now?
Yeah, I'd say it's the same thing for almost every seller. It's just capital. Honestly, capital is a big limiter. I could have all the leads in the world. I could have all the things to purchase, but at the end of the day, capital is just the number one limiter.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have, right? You want to have the business problem solved, and then everybody wants more money, right? That's the problem everybody's got. As long as you're on the page resource and plenty of stuff, I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the FBM and for some cash flow, that kind of stuff. And then, I know a lot of people have leveraged credit cards and that kind of stuff. That's not something I wouldn't sleep well at night doing that. I don't know about you, but
and that's understandable. That's absolutely understandable. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, for that guy or girl watching, they've got trying to make their first sale. Maybe they made $1,000 in sales, that kind of thing. So any last minute advice, any words of encouragement you have for that seller that's watching?
Yeah, stick to it. I think that's the number one thing that I see a lot of people struggling with. Just stick to it. Even if you feel like you're failing, even if you feel like, hey, you're wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, just stick to it. You will eventually push through it, and you'll see that this is something that you can definitely live off of in the future, and hopefully generational wealth kind of thing. So if you're struggling to source, just keep more practice, do those repetitions, reach out to other sellers. I think that will be like my number 2 biggest advice. Just reach out to other sellers, not just throw comments in the community, just actually reach out to other people, try to have people reach out to you, and you will definitely see the fruit of that. It's gonna be a life-changing.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's the advice that people don't want to hear, right? It's, you actually have to do the hard work. I have to get uncomfortable. And I'm an
introvert. It was definitely tough, but now it's necessary. Yeah, it's necessary. So.
Yeah, no, that's how I was. I started making videos on YouTube because I'm bad at reaching out to people. Like I want to get more comfortable, and it's helped a lot, right? That's that. It's awesome. We mentioned a little bit earlier, but if they want to go drop a follow, shoot you a DM, that kind of thing, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. You can find me Unrealistic Hustle, just like it sounds. So you're gonna see all my videos there, posting my boxes and monthly sales. And if you can reach out, just have any questions, like I would always respond. Just reach out to me through there.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get that drop down below. Really appreciate you spending the time today, Carlos. Appreciate all you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, drop those down below. Subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. You want to help me out with the algorithm. But I really appreciate you watching this video. Thanks again, Carlos, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you, Warner.